Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sergeant David Parker with the Yonkers Police Department Emergency Service Unit. Keeping in mind, members of our armed forces engage in combat around the world and the South in order to secure our freedom. I ask you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. American flag's behind us. I pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Please remain standing as our police chaplain, Rabbi Mendy Herdowitz, invokes a blessing.
Rabbi. Mark, do they all have life insurance? We hereby recite blessing to offer gratitude to the Almighty for the good that He has bestowed upon us as the Yonkers Police Department welcomes newly trained K-9s. Blessed are you, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this occasion. We further pray that God bestow upon much good and reward upon the officers, the handlers, as they work together with the K-9s to serve the community, to protect and preserve the lives of the men, women, and children that reside in our city. We ask you, God, to bless the officers, the trainers, and the handlers for giving them the wisdom and the knowledge to train the K-9s with their great talent. Almighty God, you have created, you have instructed us laws against animal cruelty. And you, in Deuteronomy, our animals before we sit down to eat. And as you instructed us in Exodus to express our gratitude to the dogs by giving them a piece of meat because they have not disturbed us during the Exodus of Egypt. May the K-9s and their handlers, along with the entire Yonkers Police Department, be protected and return home safely every day. Impact in our community. We are all very much appreciated. May our words be acceptable before you, God, and let us say Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Please be seated. K-9 unit. The Yonkers Police K-9 unit is one of the only few in New York State certified DCJS K-9 schools. The officers are with his K-9 partner Cash from Yonkers Police, Officer Jimmy Waldron, K-9 Smoke from the Yonkers Police, Officer Walter Reyes, K-9 from the village of Marinick, Officer Eric Levy, K-9 Drogo from Clarkstown, Police Officer Ryan Wiley with K-9 Hudson from the city of White Plains. We are honored this afternoon that many elected officials who have provided resources for our department, as well as our leaders in our department. I'd like to take this moment to introduce them. Mayor Spano, Police Commissioner Sapienza, Deputy Mayor Sue Jerry, thank you very much for your support and being here today. Gives me great pleasure to call upon the Mayor of the City of Yonkers, Mayor Mike Spano, for his remarks.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed the drones flying over. So it's amazing, isn't it? I was just talking to the commissioner about that. I don't think it's anything for us to worry about because no one seems to be all that worried, but it is kind of weird, right? But it is nice to see everyone. And just my job today, obviously, is just of Yonkers, and to the officers that have participated here today from different departments as well as our own. We know how important your job is, and we also know that we represent communities and most well-trained police departments, and we have departments that have great K-9 officers who do that job for us every with me too, I can tell. But I will say that to the police commissioner, thank you. To the officers, training brass and staff and team, thank you for all that you do. Thank you to Councilman John Rubo, the majority leader of City Council. In Yonkers, we like to be that city that is there and available for not just for the residents of our city, but certainly for the region. Very often here in Westchester County, before we call them New York City, they'll call Yonkers in. And we're very, very proud of our city. We're the safest big city in New York State, and we have a lot to be proud of. And it all starts with the colleagues that we all work with, especially the neighboring departments. So thank you, and I wish you all Merry Christmas. And who knows, maybe the drones are part of Santa and his elves. Who knows, right? So it's nice to see everyone. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Spano. I'd like to now introduce Captain Pat Rooney, Commanding Officer of the Yonkers Police Emergency Service Unit.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to keep my remarks a little brief. Unfortunately, my throat's a little sore, but I just wanted to thank you all for coming. This is a great day for us. The dedication shown by these officers, both officers today, came from within the Emergency Service Unit to take a further role in the department as K-9 officers. It's a level of devotion that is really very, very, very impressive. These officers are committing to this role and to this position in the department with these partners for the better part of the next decade. And a lot of times that gets overlooked. This is a huge commitment in time. Everybody here, both our Yonkers officers as well as our partner jurisdictions, has shown a tremendous amount of dedication to their craft. It takes hundreds of hours to get through the class. It's going to take thousands of hours to keep their K-9 partners trained throughout the length of their career. The other people I also like to thank, in addition to the officers themselves and our very, very dedicated training staff, we always want to recognize our city leaders who show an unwavering support for our men and women and our department in everything we do, and we always appreciate their support. In addition to that, we want to thank the families. We say that the department is a family, and when your officers are serving, the families are serving at home. K-9 assignments go beyond that. They go to a level, you're going to be having these animals living in your home. And that's a tremendous dedication from the families as well as the officers themselves. And we just want to say thank you to you as well, and congratulations to our members graduating today. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. I'd like now to introduce Police Officer Bobby Oscillo, our head K-9 trainer. Bobby.
Good morning. I'm Police Officer Robert Ascalillo. I took over as head trainer earlier this year when Chris Barker retired. Even though he is retired, he is always a phone call away for advice if needed. Thank you, Chris. I know I was blowing your phone up a lot. Today you see 4 new K-9 teams wearing their K-9 uniforms. Wearing this uniform is an honor that only 1% of police officers in the United States have the privilege of wearing. In comparison to most jobs within the police department, it is a small circle that we are proud to be a part of. This journey started back in August when we tested and selected our new K-9 partners. We looked for certain traits and selected the dogs that I felt met our standards. On August 26th, we officially started our 17-week patrol school. The K-9 school took place at numerous locations throughout our city and neighboring jurisdictions. This is not an easy school, as the dogs we select are green and have no training. We start with a blank canvas, and not only are we training new dogs, but we are training new handlers on how to interact with their partners. The training starts with bonding and obedience. This is where the officers and their partners learn to trust each other. We start shaping and reinforcing certain behaviors and commands such as sit, down, here, and stay. Then we move into agility training, where the dogs are taught to jump over obstacles, climb steps, and ladders, simulating what they will face when they begin working. The officers and their partners then move into scent discrimination tracking. This is searching for a lost or missing person and searches for wanted suspects. This is one of the most difficult skills to learn and become proficient in. The next portion of the curriculum is building searches. The handlers and their partners are taught techniques for searching building interiors to locate hidden suspects. The next phase of the training is area searches. This is finding a concentration of odor in areas such as yards, fields, and alleyways. As you can see, each part of the training program builds upon the previous block of instruction. At this point, the handlers and their partners are introduced to evidence location and recovery, or as we refer to them, article searches. These types of searches are outside and are rarely undertaken under ideal conditions. You never know what you will find, especially in the woods at Royal Moor. Right, Eric? The last phase of training is criminal apprehension. This is when the handler and their K-9 partners learn to locate, pursue, if necessary, and take into custody the bad guy. Most people only see the finished product of a K-9 team, but they don't see the work that goes into making this team. This is a 24/7 position. Your partner will be with you all the time, and when he is not, and you look in your rearview mirror, you will feel like something is missing. It takes countless hours, not only from the handlers, but from their families. Training sometimes takes place at home, and our families are a part of it. The family has to learn about the dogs and their capabilities and the difference between on duty and off duty for the canines. The canines themselves also have to learn this and know when the shift ends, they are off duty. They can't be on high alert all the time. Just like us, they need time to unwind. I now ask that Mayor Spano, Police Commissioner Sapienza, and Captain Rooney come to the podium for the presentation of certificates and shields. We're going to go down below so they can't.
As I call your name, please come forward. Officer Billy Brusak with K-9 Cash, the Yonkers Police Department. K-9 Cash was generously donated by Mark Marabella. Police Officer Jimmy Waldron with K-9 Smoke from the Yonkers Police Department. K-9 Smoke was generally donated by Danny Blair on behalf of the Guiding Light charity. Chief DeRuza, please come to the front. Officer Walter Reyes with K-9 Ricky from the Village of Mamaroneck PD. K-9 Ricky was generously donated by Vincent Service, Inc. and the Friedor family. Chief Wanamaker, please join them in the front. Officer Eric Levy, K-9 Drogo from Clarkstown PD. K-9 Drogo was generously donated by Michelle Matty. Lieutenant. Officer Ryan Wiley, K-9 Hudson from the city of White Plains. Officer Wiley and K-9 Hudson were certified in tracking and evidence recovery.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce the Commissioner of the Yonkers Police Department, Christopher Sapienza.
Morning. So today, I'm going to start with Officer Billy Brusack and K-9 Cash from Yonkers PD, and Officer Jimmy Waldron with K-9 Smoke from Yonkers PD. I've been a cop for 30 years. Those might be the two worst K-9 names I've ever heard. were Mafia and Crack taken? All right, so it sounds like, well, you know, I just thought of this too. If cash is working, you could actually say cash out. But then Mark Mirabella comes running, so. So, you know, the impetus for these names. Cash was donated, of course, by Mark Mirabella. He's a very staunch advocate of the police department, and also the Smoke Dogs for Smoke. And the Smoke Dogs are a philanthropist cigar organization. A lot of our own members belong there. They're just a good bunch of people looking to help the police, and this is an example. For those of you that don't know too, K-9 names are always one or two syllables. We don't like big names like, you know, Oscalillo. It confuses the dogs. It's either one or two syllables, and that's hence the commands and everything else that they get. So we also have Officer Walter Reyes and K-9 Ricky of the Village of Mamaroneck PD, Officer Eric Levy and K-9 Drogo of Clarkstown PD. These 4 dogs went through 17 weeks of patrol training, which included obedience, scent, discrimination tracking, article searches, agility, and building searches and area searches. Officer Ryan Wiley and K-9 Hudson of the City of White Plains PD. This team joined us for the scent discrimination and tracking and article search portion of the school. Another thing to point out, in addition to their K-9 responsibilities, our K-9 officers are also ESU officers, so they have a lot of responsibilities. Aside from the dog, which in and of itself could, you know, take an entire career to be good at and to be properly trained, they're also trained in tactics, they're also trained in medical, they're also trained in rescue. So they have to do a lot of things and they have to keep up with a lot of things. I have a note here that Santa had 8 reindeer and YPD has 8 canines. I don't know what to do with this yet, but I'm thinking maybe a Christmas card or something. But there's a joke in here somewhere, but I'm gonna work on it. But congratulations to everybody and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to thank the handlers and their families for their dedication and hard work. I would also like to thank Police Officer Matt Miller for his knowledge and assistance during this part of the school. You're an asset to the program, Matt. At this time, I call upon Police Officer Billy Brusack to come up to the podium.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Billy Brusack. I'm with the Yonkers Police Department K-9 unit. I would like to thank everybody for being here to celebrate the graduation of our K-9 partners. I'm up here today to just try and quickly share our journey and experience with our new partners with you. But first and foremost, on behalf of the class of 2024 Yonkers Police K-9 Patrol School, I would like to thank some of our honored guests here sitting on this podium. Mayor Spano, Commissioner Sapienza, Chief Groza, Captain Rooney. Thank you, and the rest of our honored guests as well. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be standing here today. And thank you for the resources which have allowed us the best Train 9 caning and the best K-9 partners we could have ever asked for. It has been a great honor to have been given the opportunity to represent the Yonkers Police Department K-9 unit. Thank you also to Yonkers PBA President Frank McDonald, who's here today. Frank is a tremendous supporter of the K-9 unit, and we appreciate you as well. Thank you to our trainers, head trainer Bobby Ascalillo and assistant trainer Matt Miller. We really can't thank you enough for the wealth of knowledge and experience you have shared with us over the past 17 weeks. Bobby and Matt have truly dedicated themselves to the Yonkers Police K-9 unit, giving us 100% of what they have day in and day out over countless hours, and they have made countless sacrifices to assure that our K-9 partners are the best that they could possibly be. Aside from the challenges that our K-9 partners may sometimes give them, Bobby and Matt also have to deal with the challenges that we as handlers give them. And I can assure you, we have challenged them plenty. So thank you for your patience. Bobby and Matt exercise extreme patience with us new K-9 handlers and displayed their true professionalism as trainers and K-9 handlers themselves. This was also Bobby's first class that he has run a K-9 school, and Matt's first class as an assistant trainer, and there is truly nobody better, so we thank you both. Thank you everyone else that has assisted us over this K-9 school. Chris Barca, retired head trainer. Chris was the head trainer of the Yonkers Police Department for many years, and a lot of what we do has come from you, and we really appreciate you. Thank you. We would also like to give a special thank you to our K-9 donors. Because of these donors, our K-9 partners are here with us today. You help make this journey possible for all of us. Just to name them real quick: Clarkstown PD, K-9 Drogo, Michelle Maddie, thank you. White Plains PD, K-9 Hudson, Brian Mann, thank you. Mamaroneck Village PD, K-9 Ricky, by the Fior family, Vincent's, thank you. Yonkers PD, K-9 Smoke, Gilding Lights, Danny Blair, thank you. And Yonkers PD K-9 Cash, donated by Hudson Financial, Mark Mirabella, thank you. Mark is a tremendous supporter of us as well. We appreciate you. Finally, on behalf of the class of 2024 Yonkers Police Patrol School, we would like to thank our loved ones. It goes without saying that without your support, we would not be standing here today. Bringing a large dog that wants to run around like a wild horse to your home can be considered pretty challenging, I guess, but we did it. So thank you for sticking by us and being a part of our journey. And sorry for the dog hair that is absolutely everywhere. Maybe Santa and those drones could drop off a couple new vacuums this year. Just real quick, just to share what our journey was like. Bobby explained a lot of what we do day to day, and each handler can stand and tell you their own personal background or story of how they became interested and passionate about becoming a K-9 handler. But what we can all tell you, and what we all have in common, is what it took for us to make it through this school. Dedication, hard work, sacrifice, and a sense of humor to survive 17 weeks of Matt Miller pulling pranks on us when we least expect them. We tip our hat to you, Matt. But that's not a truce, so stay on your toes, my friend. Our lives have drastically changed ever since we were handed a leash with the dog at the other end of it back in August. Although excited and bright-eyed to what was to come from this experience, we had no idea that these next months were going to be some of the most rewarding and most memorable times of our lives. One of the biggest changes in our lives was simply just our basic day-to-day routines. And I speak for every handler standing here when I say this, but from the minute you wake up to the minute you sleep, our K-9 partners are involved in everything that we do and are constantly on our minds. We learn to make sacrifices to accommodate and tend to their needs, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We started in August not knowing our dogs and not knowing each other, and what was quickly to come was the bond we built with our dogs. As time went on, we became closer and closer to our K-9s. We pick up on what they like, and we pick up on what they don't like. The bond we built with our dogs is something that is hard to put into words. It's like nothing we have ever experienced before. The bond was the initial building block on the tasks we were about to embark on in our K-9 patrol school. Throughout the school, we trained many different disciplines. We started with simple obedience training, and I mentioned before, right before we got these dogs, and a line that I'll always remember Bobby saying to me that first week was, "These dogs are like wild horses, bro." And boy, was he right. We often get a lot of questions from people, and one of the most common ones is, do the dogs come trained? And the answer is no. The dogs you are seeing today are the result of the K-9 handlers next to them, guided by the instructions of the trainers. After the dogs began to learn obedience, we added the building block of tracking. Tracking is an important part of the day-to-day functions of Police K-9, often being called to look for missing persons and sometimes bad guys. These tracks can vary anywhere between 50 feet to 5 miles long. The dogs learn how to use their nose and track the scent presented to them. From tracking, we were able to add article searches to our building blocks. Also using their noses, the dogs are able to search any area presented to them, fields, parking lots, gym floors, etc., and indicate on what we call a hot article, or an article that is newest and most fresh scented, or a fresh odor to that environment. From article searches, we were able to add, to simply put it, bite work to our building blocks and apprehension. Bite work, although the most exciting and most fun-looking set of skills taught to these dogs, was the most challenging and the most demanding on both the canines and the handlers. This bite training was what started to put all of our building blocks together. The dogs were tasked with having to listen to our commands, use their noses to find somebody hiding, use their barks to let us know when they found them, and successfully apprehend the decoy and release when directed to do so. If you're wondering who the decoys were, you're looking at them. We were tasked with suiting up and decoying for each other's dogs. Decoying is a skill in its own, and we thank our trainers for having the patience to teach us. But as time went on, we became better at it, and we're fortunate enough to work each other's dogs and watch them grow into the great dogs that they are today. At the end of our patrol school journey with our K-9 partners, we can all say the same thing. Our canines have been unstoppable and have demonstrated strength and determination. We have been inseparable from our canines and have gained each other's trust and respect. I have been blessed to work with great cops and have had great partners over my career, and I look forward to continuing with my great partner that I have found in Cash. We are truly grateful to be given this opportunity and excited to continue this journey. So that being said, K-9 Drago, K-9 Ricky, K-9 Hudson, K-9 Smoke, K-9 Cash, congratulations and God bless. Thank you all for being here with us today. I wish you all a safe home. Take it slow. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Guys, today does not mark the end of your training. Remember, training your partner is not an option, it's an obligation. Police K-9 training is a never-ending process. You will train until your K-9 is retired, hopefully many years from now. There is an old saying in K-9. Every handler gets the K-9 they deserve, and this is so true. You get what you put into it, and it shows. Guys, good luck, and as you know, my phone is always on. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming out to support the Yonkers Police Department on this special occasion. In closing, Billy made a short video of the highlights of their school. Once again, thank you so much for coming out to support the Yonkers Police Department.
If the day is complete, head down to the first row to see the video.